The cure for his sickness. I said goodbye to my abuser in prison. Here's what he told me. After years of silence and abuse, it was finally over. I had one last date with the man who ruined my childhood. A prison visiting room. I wasn't there to forgive him. I was there to end it. I brought my new love with me, and I came armed with the truth about every horrific thing he had done, including the young cousin he attacked and the child he kidnapped. I told him he was a monster. But the most shocking moment? It was when he dropped to his knees, crying, and told me that my love was the only thing that could cure his sickness. Today, I finally tell you what I said back and what happened after the guards had to step in. I, Alia, left the family residence because my mother, Helena, had permitted her adult stepson, Goran, to engage in predatory behavior against me when I was a minor. After more than a decade of zero communication, she recently initiated contact. My older stepbrother, Goran, has been a source of immense distress since the day Helena married his father, Merrick. Our parents married when I was 6 and he was 19. Both of our parents had lost their previous spouses. Following the wedding, we relocated to the state of Nebraska, as Helena had citizenship there through her previous marriage to my late father. I was born in Nebraska, but after my biological father passed away when I was 2, Helena and I moved back to Argentina. Merrick obtained his residency through marriage, and Goran, then a minor, did as well. Goran was openly hostile toward me. My primary memories of him involve relentless cruelty. He was often left to supervise me, since he lived with my parents while attending a local technical school. His supervision often involved confining me in the utility room or the outdoor storage shed. He would regularly steal my snack bag when he was responsible for my school transport. He even began intentionally harming my cherished pets. He once tried to hit my ancient beagle, who has been with me for years, with his truck. My parents consistently dismissed my claims. Helena always favored him, the prized son, because she had always wanted a boy, placing him far above me. The harassment escalated and became increasingly disturbing. He had discovered the special tool for the latch-style lock on the main bathroom, designed for emergency access. He would use it to intrude while I was using the shower. My private garments would sometimes vanish, and I knew he was responsible. He began secretly taking photos of me while I was asleep. One evening, I awoke to find him engaging in inappropriate self-gratification beside my bed. I screamed, and my parents arrived, but it was I who was reprimanded, not him. I was punished for being a provocation. I was, and he was. No one offered protection, and his actions grew more brazen until an assault occurred, for which I am still undergoing therapy. When the situation became unbearable, prompting me to contact my biological older half-brother, Devin, the son of my father's first wife. I asked if I could reside with him and his wife, Alia, for the final 2 years of my schooling. Upon learning the truth, Devin confronted Helena. Helena's response was indifference. She told him to take me, provided he never asked for any financial assistance. Devin and Alia formally became my legal guardians, welcoming me into their home. I brought my beagle and the old family parrot, as I couldn't trust Goran around any living thing. My birth parents never once checked on me. My paternal extended family, who were aware of the situation, immediately rallied to ensure I could successfully complete my education and attend university. Thanks to Devin's side of the family, including his mother and her relatives, I earned my graduate degree, have zero debt, and work as a specialist clinician. I still live with Devin, Alia, and their 2 sons, contributing a modest rent payment. Neither Devin nor Alia expected payment, but after years of their care, it's the least I can do. I haven't moved yet because the area is extremely costly, and Devin insists I remain with them until I have saved enough for my own property. Things changed when Helena recently messaged me. She hadn't contacted me since when she declared I was no longer her responsibility. Her message was overly warm and friendly, expressing how much she missed me and asking about my life. Feeling uneasy, I chose to be polite, briefly outlining my accomplishments since leaving. She appeared very intrigued, noting she knew I was a clinician, but not my exact specialization. She began inquiring about my earnings. I kept my answer vague, stating only that it was sufficient for my expenses. Helena then shifted the conversation to Goran, lamenting his meager income due to significant education loan debt. Goran, she explained, had never completed a full degree, having cycled through numerous jobs. He is currently a salesperson in Merrick's hardware store, but most of his pay services his extensive student loans. I offered a brief statement of sympathy for Goran's financial hardship and wished him good luck. This is when Helena finally revealed her true motive, demanding that I should pay off Goran's student debt. She claimed this would allow him to finally earn the income he deserves as the primary male figure of the family. Upon reading this, I simply deactivated my phone. When I arrived home, Devin was surprised, as I am typically the last back. Talia was not yet home. I showed Devin Helena's messages and explained what had transpired. I have never witnessed Devin so enraged. He immediately told me to block Helena, Merrick, and Goran if I hadn't already. After consulting with Devin and Talia, I requested 2 days off from my manager, extending my weekend to 4 days. My manager readily agreed, urging me to rest and assuring me she was there to help. Unfortunately, this time off backfired, as the following day, Helena and Goran showed up at Devin's house, demanding to speak with me. I was alone, as Devin and Talia were at work and the children were at school. I instantly called Devin, who instructed me not to open the door and confirmed he was on his way. Helena spent the entire time yelling that I owed them for my upbringing and that her beloved son deserved the money. Goran was circling the house, attempting to locate an unlocked door or window. There were none, as the windows are secured with metal grates and the only other access is through the garage, closed, and a locked side gate. He yelled an unforgettable slur when he saw me through a window, essentially telling me I should have been abandoned as a baby because I grew up to be cruel. He then struck one of the windows so violently that the glass actually cracked. He eventually returned to the front door, attempting to kick it in. Though the door was reinforced, I was utterly terrified by the barrage of shouts, threats, pleas, and insults. Finally, I heard Devin's furious shouts, telling them to vacate the property. Watching from the window, I saw Helena and Goran turn completely white and look terrified before fleeing to their car and speeding away illegally. Devin soon came inside, immediately going into intense protective mode, checking if I was hurt and apologizing repeatedly while hugging me. Talia arrived almost immediately after, looking furious. Apparently, Devin had threatened Goran with legal action for the assault that occurred when I was. Devin's crucial piece of leverage was that Merrick, the stepfather, was prepared to testify against his own son.
This seemed to deter Goran, but not Helena. In the 3 days since, Helena has sent non-stop text messages, called from multiple unknown numbers, and recruited a group of people, allegedly my maternal relatives, to harass me for money. She falsely claims the money is legally owed to her as my mother and is due to my late father's supposed unpaid allowance. Devin is currently helping me secure a lawyer for a protective order against Helena. I also intend to accept Merrick's offer to testify by filing criminal charges against Goran. I can't forgive Merrick for his inaction, but I appreciate his current attempt to make amends. While I don't know the exact details, Goran had previously assaulted one of Merrick's younger female relatives, leading to their catastrophic falling out. I accepted my manager's offer and will take a few extra days of vacation, though this whole ordeal is consuming my paid time off. Thankfully, my dark humor and supportive paternal family are helping me stay somewhat sane. Update 1, 3 days later. I did not expect to have an update so quickly, but Helena is persistent. To those who offered kind advice, thank you. Your support is invaluable during this difficult period. I followed the advice to freeze my credit and am arranging a new cell number for personal calls, keeping the old one temporarily for work. Regarding the legal front, we are proceeding with criminal charges and may pursue a civil suit for the 2 years of support Helena owes me. We're uncertain of our chances, but Devin is determined to go scorched earth. As for Helena, she has launched a new campaign. She is falsely accusing me of fabricating the assault claims. She is painting me as a seductress who chased Goran for years, even enlisting a few relatives, who I now realize are my mother's sisters, to claim they were witnesses. I have never met these women in my life. Merrick actually commented on her public posts, calling her a liar and naming his own son a predator. This is how I learned the extent of their feud. Goran had targeted one of Merrick's young female cousins, who was likely around my age or possibly younger. Many of my biological father's relatives are now publicly challenging Helena, pointing out that she always claimed to be an orphan, but suddenly has 3 sisters. It's chaotic, and for now, I'm watching from the sidelines and enjoying my time as a live-in auntie. My nephews love the chaotic fun we have after they finish their schoolwork. My manager assisted me with paperwork for a leave of absence, granting me approximately 6 weeks off, followed by a period of working from home. This is not a great update, and things are tough, but I cherish the time with the children. I should also clarify, Helena is not romantically involved with Goran. She simply always wanted a son and viewed my birth as a disappointment because I was a girl. She treats Goran like her own flesh and blood, a misguided maternal love. She made sure I knew how disappointed she was on the day I was born. 1 week later. This may be my final update on this particular saga as the legal battles are beginning, but I recently had a good laugh. I haven't discussed my biological father much. He died when I was 2, so I never knew him personally. I know him through family stories and have one baby picture of us. I learned he was a wealthy man who carefully structured his estate. His assets wouldn't grant me a life of leisure, but would provide a comfortable, secure future if managed well. I was unaware of any inheritance, as was my half-brother, Devin, his son from his first marriage. I am the daughter from my father's second marriage. I assumed any inheritance was long gone, spent by Helena on her preferred stepson, Goran. Helena's philosophy was, daughters don't need inheritance, just secure a wealthy partner, as I did. Since Helena and Goran's recent harassment, we visited my father's lawyer for necessary records for our planned lawsuit. The lawyer, a kind, elderly gentleman who was my father's best friend, greeted me with warmth. His wife was also there, and they insisted on having me over for dinner soon. Once we discussed the matter, we discovered that Helena had been submitting fraudulent documentation to siphon money from my trust fund. It was a considerable amount, and some of the false claims were even made while I was under Devin's care. Though not the trustee executor, she had to provide receipts for all expenditures. She had been submitting fake receipts, claiming they were my tuition and medical expenses, under the pretense that I was still in school. I finished in 2021. Not only has her meal ticket been terminated, but she is now in serious legal trouble. This is fraud, and the matter is out of my hands regarding criminal charges. She had also been claiming me as a dependent on her tax returns to get refunds for her expenses. My father's lawyer confirmed this could not stay in civil court. He was obligated to contact the federal authorities and the police. It complicates things that she has been using my social security number improperly. I am immensely grateful to those who advised me to freeze my credit. You likely saved me from further damage. I will be busy for a while and mentally exhausted. I wouldn't have known or acted on the trust fund issue if Helena had just left me alone. The trust was set up for me to take control upon proof of marriage or graduation, and because I didn't know it existed, I never submitted the required paperwork. She could have continued to drain it had she not initiated contact and kept sending fake information. I am currently in the process of reclaiming what remains of the trust fund, which is enough, combined with my savings, to buy a residence and still have a cushion for investment. I might postpone the purchase, however, as I'm concerned about the security risk, since Helena still has my social security number. 1.5 weeks later. This is more of a personal rant, as the legal side is just beginning and I have nothing new I can share. I was harassed by Helena at a public establishment. My friends and family had been encouraging me to go out for a girls' night. We went to a local tavern. I, being an introvert, mostly stayed near the bar, enjoying my drink and chatting with the server while watching my friends have fun. My pleasant mood was shattered when I saw Helena, thankfully alone, approaching me. The moment she saw me, she launched herself at me, sobbing about how much she missed me and how different I looked.
As I tried to pull away, she began making a scene, loudly begging for reconciliation and claiming she was sorry I had misinterpreted Goran's affection. She insisted they both love me and want me back home. She was so loud that a crowd formed, with some pitying her and encouraging me to hug my mother. It was deeply embarrassing and wrong. I finally snapped, yelling for her to leave me alone and walking out. This was worse, as she followed me with 2 or 3 bystanders, calling me a terrible daughter. She repeatedly swore that Goran genuinely cared for me and wanted us to be a family again. She even stated, almost verbatim, that he found me so attractive that he couldn't control himself when he made love to me. I was a minor, 16, when he did that. He was almost 30. I broke down, screaming for her to get lost. One of my more level-headed friends called Devin, who arrived very quickly. He scared Helena away and drove me home. I am now certain I will not be going out in public again for a while. For those wondering why I didn't call the authorities, I had called them since I was 11 to report the abuse. When I reported the assault at 16, they sided with him. I have zero trust in them. I genuinely believe law enforcement doesn't care about victims of sexual assault. I am writing this to release the tension. My therapist is unavailable, so this community is the next best thing.
2 months later, it's been quiet, which is why I haven't posted. But this weekend, Helena decided to accost me at my workplace again. I'm a specialist clinician, and I'm back in the office seeing patients after my work-from-home period ended. On Sunday, I noticed a patient with my mother's distinct old-fashioned first name, but a different last name. I live in a large immigrant community. Our family is from Argentina, so I initially assumed it was another person, despite my American father. Lo and behold, it was Helena, using a false surname. I immediately called my manager, who is aware of the situation, and promptly asked Helena to leave. She was there for a routine checkup, not an emergency. Our state law allows us to refuse service if a staff member's safety is at risk in the person's presence. There are many other local clinics available to her. If she had been in distress, we would not have been able to deny her care. Helena naturally became irate, demanding to be seen only by me. My manager, unintimidated, insisted she leave or the police would be called. After a heated confrontation that I watched on the security cameras, Helena hurled a letter at my manager and stormed out. She even violently shoved a woman walking in, though, thankfully, no one was injured. My manager gave me the letter and assured me she would ensure I was not assigned any patients with my mother's first name before making new front desk arrangements. During my break, I read the letter, primarily to see if it could be used for the protective order. Here is the translation of the most relevant parts. My lovely daughter, it hurts me that you won't speak to me. I love you so much, and all I want is to regain the years we've lost. You are all I have left of your father, whom I adored. I know there are misunderstandings with Goran. He loves you, and I wish you'd give him a chance to show it. He always talks about how beautiful you are and wants to spend more time with you. He adores you and wants you to consider his feelings. He even asked me to convince you to marry him, which I think is a wonderful idea. Merrick and I are likely divorcing, and this would be the perfect solution for Chris, you, and I to remain a family. He constantly talks about wanting to raise your and his baby together. Let me know when you want to go wedding dress shopping. I love you, darling. From Mom. A personal note. I am biologically incapable of getting pregnant due to medical complications resulting from Goran's assault. Helena knows this, Goran knows this, and the police knew this when they ruled the assault consensual intimacy because I was 16, the age of consent in our state. My lawyer immediately added the letter to the compilation for the protective order. Still no court date, and the police still don't consider my case risky enough for a temporary order, though one officer is taking this seriously and has been helpful. Edit. An urgent update. Goran has been arrested. Apparently he kidnapped a 2-year-old baby girl, the daughter of his own cousin. The baby was recovered safe and unharmed. I'm relieved she wasn't missing for long. I am trying to use this incident to finally secure that temporary protective order. She is now harassing me to pay Goran's bail, which is set at $225,000. I'm appalled that bail was even granted for kidnapping a child, and I find the amount disturbing considering the crime. I'm still trying to get a protective order against both of them. The one against Goran is more likely. However, for Helena, neither the police nor the lawyers view her as a direct threat. This means I still have to endure her attempts to talk to me in the clinic parking lot or constant, loud banging at Devon's door. Her recently met sisters have also joined the harassment. While Devon and Talia assure me it's fine, I know this is straining them and worry about their children being exposed to the chaos. Despite Devon's insistence, I temporarily moved to a hotel while searching for a modest rental apartment. I am considering a traveling nurse position, but I'm reluctant to be away from my essential support system, Devon and his family. The issue is that Helena has somehow tracked me to the first hotel and discovered my room number. When I opened the door to dismiss her, she instantly slapped me and began hitting me and scratching me. She was screaming that it was my fault her sweet boy was arrested and that I should pay his bail. Helena is not physically strong, but the attack was a total shock. Luckily, housekeeping was nearby, and they summoned security to restrain her. Security called the police, who simply let her go with a warning. As soon as I recovered, I left that hotel for another. I went to work so my injuries could be professionally examined. My manager, who helped me through a panic attack and cleaned the scratches on my neck, offered me a private solution. She owns a rental property that she'll stop using for college students at the end of the semester, and offered it to me. It's a small house with a yard that allows pets, meaning my beagle can join me. She also wants me to start carpooling with a coworker, a large, intimidating-looking male nurse who is in fact incredibly kind. I reported the assault to the police, but despite photographic evidence of my injuries, the Domestic Affairs Unit dismissed it, citing Helena's advanced age and lack of real danger. I was even lectured about potentially needing family counseling. My lawyer told me to breathe and focus on building our paper trail, promising we would ultimately prevail. Regarding how Helena found my room, the front desk clerk gave her the number after Helena made a scene.
Helena claimed I was suicidal and worried I would harm myself after my fiancé, Goran, was arrested on false charges. My lawyer is now engaging with the hotel management. Helena has returned to social media, claiming I attacked her when she went to check on me after Devon supposedly kicked me out. This has reignited the online feud between my father's family and her family. I posted pictures of my injuries and my account of the event. I am exhausted. This is now negatively impacting my work despite my amazing manager's support. I miss Devon's family, my own bed, and my peace. I never wanted to deal with her or Goran again. Edit. For those who suggested checking my vehicle for trackers, you were correct. An AirTag was hidden in the undercarriage, covered in heavy tape that matched the color. 1 month later, I am incredibly happy to report that Helena was arrested last night for tax fraud and grand larceny related to my inheritance. It has been a half year of abuse and turmoil, and I finally feel amazing. I may have to testify, but I am ready to be free of both of them. Following community advice, I am proceeding with securing a temporary protective order and getting a new social security number. I am also back home with Devon and his family. One of their neighbors is selling their house, so I'm hopeful I can purchase it. I'm so relieved. Even a few weeks of peace will be wonderful. Helena called me twice from jail. The first went to voicemail, where she demanded I drop the charges, which I can't as it's a federal matter. I answered the second call, and she was begging me not to abandon her. It felt incredibly satisfying to simply say goodbye and hang up. Her flying monkeys, the sisters I just met, are sending annoying messages and emails, but blocking them is manageable as they are strangers. I cannot thank everyone enough for their support. I'll post any new updates, but for now, I'm stepping back. Hello everyone, I'm alive and well. I'll skip the recap since I've done so many. Starting with the updates, Helena was finally formally arrested. It turns out she never achieved citizenship, remaining a resident, so she may face deportation instead of incarceration. Either outcome works for me. The last I heard from her was before the holidays through her now ex-friends who came to ask why I had accused her of fraud. They believed she sent me monthly support because I was a failed university student. It took 10 minutes to correct their misunderstanding. Having my advanced degree on the wall cleared up who the true leech was. Helena's sisters continued to be a social media nightmare, blaming me for everything and claiming I've ruined the family's reputation. I'm planning to legally change my name to drop my mother's surname, and posting about this only exacerbated their fury. They even got a local religious leader to call me, expressing concern that I wasn't honoring my mother as a good person should. Imagine his face when I told him I had converted to Sufism, a complete lie. I'm happily agnostic. I'm sure my aunts fed him a completely biased story. I decided to visit Goran in jail, a final gesture of defiance and satisfaction. He never managed to post bail, so he's still incarcerated, awaiting trial. My visit with Goran in the detention center was scheduled for a day in early February, a result of the typical judicial delays. When he saw me, he used the familiar, nauseating pet name, mi cariño, and tried to act affectionate. I was deliberately unyielding and brought my new companion, Leo, with me. Remember my coworker, the large, intimidating-looking but sweet nurse? We are now in a committed relationship. I made it clear to Goran that this was the definitive end of our communication. I publicly and loudly denounced him for being a reprehensible person in the visiting room. I called him a monster for the abduction of a small child and for his depraved fantasies concerning her. I also revealed that the young relative he had previously assaulted was much younger than me, only 9 years old. I called him out for being an adult predator in his mid-30s who attacked a little girl. He began to weep, claiming he was mentally unwell and that my love could be his remedy. I told him I already loved someone else and that he would never hear from me again. My sole purpose was to let him see me happy, in a respectful relationship, and with my life in order despite the years of abuse he inflicted. And I vowed that I would personally ensure that the young cousin he harmed would have a secure future. I then left, and I am certain the other detainees overheard the entire exchange. I heard a guard cursing and calling for security reinforcement to handle Goran. The guard gave me a tired look as I passed, and I did feel a slight pang of guilt for causing him extra work. As promised, I reached out to the mother of Goran's young cousin. The girl is about the same age I was when Goran committed his worst assault on me. Fortunately, in her case, the abuse was stopped before it escalated further. Her mother has been very supportive of us communicating. I extended an offer of both emotional and financial support to their family should they ever need it. I made it explicit that this offer applies to their entire side of the family, excluding Goran and my ex-stepfather, Merrick. They have been nothing but kind and profusely apologetic for not noticing the abuse, which I understand since we rarely interacted. Regarding the house I hoped to purchase, I unfortunately did not secure the property. That is fine though. Starting a new relationship prompted me to pause major life changes simultaneously as it was becoming overwhelming, and this is my first formal relationship. On a sad note, my faithful companion, the old beagle who lived for 23 years, passed away. She developed a very aggressive form of mouth illness and deteriorated in days. After agonizing over the decision, I chose to let her go. I could not bear to see my 2-decade-long best friend suffer.
This is another reason I'm grateful to still be living with my half-brother Devin and his family. My nephews have been an amazing comfort during this loss. With Leo's permission, I can share this. I'm also learning what it's like to take on a more nurturing, non-parental role. Leo is a single father to a sweet 4-year-old daughter whose mother passed away when she was an infant. I am the first steady female figure in her life as his father's partner. We are not rushing the mother role. For now, I'm simply his father's friend. She has quickly grown fond of me, and I love spending time with her. She even drew me a picture of my beagle with tiny angel wings so I would always know my pet is watching over me. I have to admit, that made me cry happy tears. So, life is slowly returning to normal. A mix of good and sad news. I'm learning what it means to be with someone who truly respects and cares for me. Overall, I'm doing much better.
And that's where I stand now. My journey is far from over. I'm learning to be a good partner, a good friend, and a steady figure in a little girl's life. But I am finally living a life that is mine, free from the shadow of my past. I have people who genuinely love and respect me, and that is a victory I never thought I'd win. If there is one message I could leave you with, it's this. Your silence does not protect your abuser. It only keeps you trapped. Finding your voice is the single most terrifying, difficult, and powerful thing you will ever do. If this story resonated with you, I would be truly grateful if you'd let me know you were here. Please hit the like button to support this video and help others find this story of hope. More importantly, I want to hear from you. If you have ever had to say enough to someone who hurt you, or if you're proud of the steps you've taken to reclaim your life, please drop a comment down below. Share a word of strength, an experience you're ready to share, or just a simple heart emoji. Let's create a space where we can all be honest about our pain and celebrate our healing. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I'll see you in the comments.